Welcome to New Era Community. From the Agni Yoga series by Nicholas and Helena Roerich, Vegetarians Part 2 of 2 on Words of Wisdom. The esteemed mystical and philosophical writers Nicholas and Helena Roerich are two of the most influential spiritual thought leaders from Russia, recognized for founding the doctrine of Agni Yoga, also known as living ethics. Believed to be a synthesis of all yogas, spiritual disciplines, Agni Yoga focuses on the daily practice of love, beauty, and noble action. Nicholas Roerich was also a cherished artist, whose illuminating paintings, charged with the energy of his mystical experiences, drew many pilgrims from around the world. His wife, Helena Roerich, was the impetus for his interest in Eastern spirituality and theosophy. She is depicted in his painting titled She Who Leads. Traveling extensively throughout Asia to deepen their spiritual studies, the Roerichs eventually met their master in Darjeeling, India. The ascended venerated Master Moria, also known as El Moria, is a master of the Great White Brotherhood, an order of ascended masters and their incarnated disciples, one of whom was Helena Blavatsky. In fact, Master Moria inspired the founding of the Theosophical Society. And to the Roerichs, he was the inspiration behind all of their noble ideals for the world. Moria revealed messages of higher wisdom to Nicholas and Helena Roerich, which they recorded on paper and later gathered into a series of texts. We will now continue with a selection from the recorded mind-opening messages from Master Moria, documented by his disciples, Helena and Nicholas Roerich. The recorded words are delivered with a New Age tone, as if a prophetic eye had a glimpse of a future on the threshold of a new world. New Era Community, 1926. Out of a wild jungle I can raise a grove, but a stone polished by worshipping foreheads will not produce a seed. Among the mechanical attainments of modern civilization, the means of transportation deserves special attention. This devouring of space is already to a certain extent a victory over the supramundane spheres. But a circle of low materialism holds these conquests within the limits of low matter, and the result is more harm than good. The chief danger in this haste of locomotion lies in a heightened feeling of irresponsibility. Passing beyond the limits of the ordinary, man becomes light, but because of the crudeness of feelings, he loses the consciousness of responsibility. He who can fly at a speed of 400 miles an hour or who can fly higher than others acquires the psychology of a boxing champion, and the realization of spiritual responsibility leaves him. It is possible to ennoble the conquest by stripping it of all sporting significance and directing it to labor. Hurry to save the unfortunates. Fly for the unifying of humanity. Then will these conquests enter into evolution, for people must bring into ordinary usage the supramundane strivings, not forgetting about responsibility. As yet these conquests remain in the stage of ugly centaurs. When people will comprehend whither or for what reason they must fly, then will it be possible to improve the flying apparatus tenfold. It is possible to whisper a great number of useful experiments into the strata of space: atomic energy, condensation of prana, colored rays in space, harvest in connection with repeated explosions, and many another have been destined for humanity. Many a time you have heard about following our indications, and you could convince yourself that precise fulfillment of the indication is practical and beneficial. This is the first step. After this, self-action must begin. Knowing the foundation of our teaching, it is necessary to prove to be disciples, creating in full co-measurement and immutability. When the teacher says, "Now you yourselves display the effect of my indications," it does not mean to recall old habits, to quarrel with one another, to become offended and to hurt each other. This can be left to the mule drivers, but it should be for you to remember about our community and emulate it in harmonious labor. When the time comes to change the course of the ship, the indication will come. But do not expect an indication about a patch for the boot, otherwise we shall soon congratulate each other on our birthdays. It is necessary to assimilate permanently the dignity and the worth of the true work, and to relegate childish habits to the archives. Without betraying one's principles, it is possible to find hundreds of worthy solutions. I wish to see you upon the next step. Some dream of casting themselves at the feet of the teachers, but do not dare to go with them into battle. But precisely now is the time of battle, and we can only call to battle. With the full knowledge of the truth of good, on personal responsibility, we affirm the battle, but a lawful one. Master the problem of remaining cool throughout the entire battle. The battle of light is just beginning. Millions are in it without knowing the final result. But you know, and this knowledge should make you wise and prompt a worthy decision. Your spirit must take wing in the name of truth. How is it possible to be uplifted by the achievement of the evolution of the world? My ray carries my request that nothing be done to hinder its light. Instead of wings of achievement, it is easy to grow black horns, wings of false reasoning. The dark spirits have black emanations resembling horns. It is necessary to strive toward the utmost, the absolute. The utmost absolute gravitation will be toward the far-off worlds. Earthly beauty is lost in the glory of the suprastellar race. Earthly science, remembering with difficulty yesterday and ignorant of tomorrow, is insignificant and contributes nothing to the knowledge about the cause of luminaries coming into existence. How may one approach the above-mentioned absolute? It cannot be done through technical means or earthly science, nor by descriptive art. It is possible only through the expansion of consciousness, when the earthly being is engulfed by the emanations from the distant spheres. Thus, those who are approaching us, or rather the boundaries of the orbit of Earth, lose their specialty. Only in the realization of all comprehensiveness may one endure the brilliance of the luminaries. But in order to contain the scintillation, one must set alight one's inner fires. The element of fire is most striking, transcendental, and if you wish to classify our community according to the elements, refer to the great fire which gives all, purifies all, and requires nothing. We are not lovers of the world of bodily survivals, the lower subtle world, the astral world, but like everything else that exists, it cannot be avoided in spiritual development. The world of bodily survivals contains certain elements needed for the intercourse between the worlds. For example, the means of transportation are very little understood by the dwellers of the subtle world. Although they have the possibility to strive upwards, they are busy with the constructing of dark houses in imitation of the earthly ones. But if still during their lifetime they had broadened their consciousnesses, they would have been able to measure the hem of the garment of the Mother of the world. The better possibilities can be awakened by those who are able to perceive with a spiritual consciousness. But for the preservation of consciousness, it is necessary to sense this during one's lifetime. Then the state of the contemporary world of physical survivals will be almost erased. Not the prayer rest in peace, but learn in the space of the light. With all your consciousness remember the problems of evolution. When the striving for repose disappears, then are the gates drawing near. One may reach us only in harmonious agreement. We need not deification but a certain quality of spirit, as a lamp of concordant tension. A flickering lamp is unbearable for prolonged work. The same laws apply in everything, and according to the law of justice, a flickering lamp insures itself. I counsel my lamps not to blink. The dynamo is not damaged because of the quality of the lamps, but uncoordinated voltage often results in a grievous sing. And the basic metal must be provided anew. The laws are identical in everything. For more information and more of the Agni Yoga Society books, please visit agniyoga.org. Heroic viewers, we thank you for your kind presence for today's words of wisdom.